Right. The reference, of course, is to the Pentagon Papers, now a famous Supreme Court opinion standing for the proposition that if the media possesses something of material interest to the public, it can publish it with civil and criminal immunity. That, of course, does not immunize the person who gave them the documents. Daniel Ellsberg was fortunate that the FBI broke into his psychiatrist's office during the trial and stole records of what the psychiatrist's notes were from the therapy sessions. And the trial judge was so outraged, he dismissed the charges in the middle of a trial for espionage. And Daniel Ellsberg walked out of the courtroom a free man. But he was obviously willing to go to jail to expose the lies in the Vietnam War. Here he is. Very moving.
Do not do what I did. Don't do what I did. Don't wait till the bombs are falling and thousands more have died. Act like Catherine Gunn. Act like as I wish I had done in 1964, when I knew that people were being lied to death. Putting out documents to that effect before the war, right at the time, at whatever cost to oneself, at whatever risk, which is not even comparable to the massacres that were actually ongoing or in process. Do what I wish I had done in 64, not what I waited till 69 and 71. Act like Catherine Gunn and Ed Snowden and Tom Drake, Bill Binney, many others on that list, in particular Ed Snowden and Julian Assange, and act while there are still lives to be saved.
One of his last public statements before he died, basically a call, Matt, to people in government today who can document and demonstrate that the government, let's go to Ukraine, knows we're losing in Ukraine, knows the Ukrainian state has collapsed, knows the money we've sent there, much of it has been stolen, and still wants to send another 68 billion. Matt?
And the willingness to put it all together. And I think most people in the U.S. and certainly around the world, and in the U.S., it's younger folks who seem to be catching on to this and having the courage, if you will, the audacity, if you will, to connect the dots, not allow any blackouts in American history. So you see that what's happening in Ukraine, that looks different. It's a proxy war. It's not a direct war. It's in Europe. It's not in the Middle East. But it's fundamentally no different than what happened in Iraq, fundamentally no different than happened in Afghanistan. Those are no different than what we did in Central America and Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what you need are the people to come out to provide that color, because people have a black and white understanding, and they need their suspicions, their thoughts, their understanding of what's occurring with our government overseas to be confirmed. And I just want to go back to Dan and Ray as well, but Dan referenced Catherine Gunn. And if most Americans are not familiar with Catherine Gunn because she was British, and she was a member of GCHQ, which is the British version of the NSA. And she went to the press in the weeks before the U.S. invasion of Iraq to detail how the U.S. and the British were trying to sabotage the diplomatic process at the United Nations. And a quick and easy way to learn about her, a fantastic movie called Official Secrets with Keira Knightley. It's a great film, tells Catherine's story very well. But that's the type of thing we're talking about. We need the people who have the evidence. Right.
There are a lot of people, you would know this better than I because you used to work there, in the State Department, who have recently indicated enormous public displeasure with the president's policies in Ukraine and Gaza. Am I right about that, Matt?
And we just yesterday, I believe it was, you have 40 interns at the White House sign a letter stating we do not support this. This government, our government, is not just promoting genocide, it's enabling genocide. We're providing the bombs to kill the people who are being ethnically cleansed. And so you're seeing that throughout. You've seen at the State Department, particularly with the high-profile resignation of Josh Paul, who is just absolutely stellar, being, not just a moral exemplar right now in a time when we have very few moral exemplars publicly in the government. But then you had USAID, over 1,000 people at USAID, that's the United States' development arm of the State Department, sign a letter protesting against this. You have 400 political appointees throughout the government sign a letter disagreeing with this support for genocide. And, you know, with that speaking out, with that stepping out, there also comes back to what Ray was talking about, the need for people to put their bodies on the line. And as Dan was saying as well, and Dan Ellsberg got arrested about 100 times at least. So he wasn't just mouthing these words without putting his body behind it. Ray has been arrested many, many times. I keep on my wall right next to me. You'll like this, George. This is Ray's bolo from the State Department when he interrupted Hillary, when he did a silent interruption of Hillary Clinton. And the State Department was so threatened by that. The Secretary of State, the American government, was so threatened by a person standing silently in opposition to Hillary Clinton's warmongering that they put out a bolo, be out on the lookout, or be on the lookout for, right? I mean, and so that's the type of people that we need to rally around and support and listen to, because they're the ones who've left before, and they're the ones that we need now.